Welcome back, my dark means, to the Dark Void, ruled by me, 951. And today we're back, continue on with the with the Spooktober theme, where we're reacting, as always, basically a creepypasta. Of course, and this one is by Mr. Creepypasta, or Mr. Creepy Stories, I don't know. It's going to be down below somewhere. I apologize if I messed up the name, but it's going to be down in the description for you guys to watch this video. And we're going to be watching, I hired a locksmith to let me back inside my house. Creepypasta story time. So yeah, we're going to be seeing that, and we're going to see what the heck is going on. Let's get ready. And also, welcome to Spooktober. We're going to continue on with the theme, and let's see what's going on. Alright, let's begin.
A few days ago, I accidentally locked myself out of my house after having gone out for groceries.
That's a
When I
bad
returned to
thing.
my home and found the doors locked, I quickly Googled and contacted a local locksmith.
Hey, you got to do
Groceries,
something.
which required freezing, and
Ooh.
a dog inside. Two things which prevented me from shopping around for a reputable locksmith. I merely selected and dialed the first decent-looking one that I came
there's
across.
the person's name.
I was
or
given
the
a
story.
reasonable quote over the phone and also a time at which
Who made the
to expect
story?
locksmith. However, nearly 2 hours passed before he showed up. His truck was unmarked and presumably his personal vehicle, and his clothes were similarly plain. There was nothing to associate him with any service or company. He was nice enough, though.
They
He
probably just
apologized for his lateness.
running around.
An explanation wasn't offered.
Heh.
He fiddled with the door for a moment, retrieved some tools, and went to work. A few minutes and a change of tools later, he opened the door. It was
Hey.
fairly hot outside, so I went in and grabbed the water bottle for him. He graciously thanked me, and then we began the payment process. I've been somewhat annoyed at his lateness, but the quickness of the actual unlocking of the door and his politeness had made my bad temper simmer down. But then he told me the job,
Pretty good.
and I again became annoyed. It was well beyond the amount quoted over the phone. And having little time to waste, I accepted and confirmed the payment.
Oh,
Aside.
man.
The total had been $200.
Oh, no, that's not.
Plans that day, so I put
That
it
doesn't.
in the back of my mind.
That does not sound right. That does not
Following
sound
day,
right.
While relaxing and browsing stuff on the internet, I remembered the cost of the locksmith job, which had all but drained my wallet. I googled locksmith services in my area and even contacted a few of them, and came to the conclusion that I had been ripped off.
Yeah, you bet you did.
The job had been
200?
during regular operating hours, the locksmith had been late, the method he'd used was amateur, likely to cause damage to the door, a risk I was not forewarned about, and he warned nothing which identified his company. In hindsight, everything about the experience was unprofessional.
You gotta be careful with those people.
So I thought at the time. The third-party payment service they used gave the option to dispute the charge in the link provided in the text receipt. I selected it, and after briefly explaining my situation, I was contacted by a customer service representative. But despite the option to dispute the charge, she couldn't actually facilitate a refund of my money. Only tell me the information I already knew. That being the phone number of the locksmith service I'd used. Annoyed, but not deterred, I called the locksmith company and explained the situation, whilst politely but firmly demanding at least a partial refund.
At
Not
least.
only did they deny me a refund, they said the rate was fair because, and I
Right.
quote, "We got you inside."
It's my. I hate that.
I explained
I hate that.
they had ripped me off, provided them with quotes from other companies for the same job they'd performed, but they remained indignant. In a moment of frustration, I said that I wasn't afraid to take them to small claims court.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
The phone operator responded, "You do what you gotta do. We'll do what we gotta do." Then hung up on me. I was too angered at the time to be unsettled, so I didn't really consider the parting statement to be a threat until later that night, when my frustration had dissipated with the arrival of nighttime, when I usually relax, watch TV, and reflect on the day.
Ugh.
The man's words had become reinterpreted as a threat when I realized that I was dealing with someone who was probably unlicensed and unregistered, beyond Google ad posting. Someone who by trade could enter a home soundlessly and with ease. I wouldn't say that I'm a coward or scared easily, but I do know when to be sensibly cautious. It was around 8 p.m. when this revelation came to me. I didn't have any weapons in my house, at least things intended for such a purpose.
Dude, just
So
use
I
whatever
went
you
to a
want.
neighbor's house, a trip that I hadn't ever taken since moving into the neighborhood some 6 years ago. Since we were essentially strangers, I tried my best to represent my situation in a way that would warrant his interest and support. I explained what happened, admittedly dramatizing the phone call to suggest the locksmith would be prowling around the area, rather than targeting my house specifically. I also emphasized the truth, that I had essentially been scammed by an unprofessional, something I think everybody can sympathize with.
Yeah.
The neighbor is an
Yeah.
old man, but not old enough to be totally unwelcome of strangers and their problems. He agreed that I should probably have some sort of greater protection in my home.
Yeah, you should
than
have, like,
cooking and
something.
gardening tools, even if the locksmith was just making empty threats. I was elated, and thought I'd soon be loaned a proper weapon of some sort, but after re-entering his house for several moments, he returned not with a weapon, but with a candle. He handed it to me and said, "Before you sleep tonight, light the candles someplace near an exit of your home. Anyone. Doesn't matter. Make sure that you don't inhale the scent emitted, and rest assured that any trespassers on your property will be swiftly dealt with. You needn't worry about cleaning up or anything like that. All will be taken care of."
Okay,
He
then.
shut the door without further explanation, leaving me standing on his front porch holding a candle.
Dude, just follow the
a
rules.
whiskey glass.
Just follow the rules.
I returned home and set the candle on the kitchen table. It was the first time I'd had any face-to-face interaction with a man, and despite his bizarre assistance, his behavior didn't appear to be that of someone who had succumbed to senility. Of course, I was not ready to be reliant upon a candle for my safety.
Just put
so
it
I
anyway.
packed up some tools and brought them with me upstairs and made sure the doors were firmly shut and locked, as if it mattered given the circumstances of my caution. I'd even briefly considered placing obstructions before the door, but found this to be a bit silly to perform.
Hey,
I'm not a superstitious person, and I wouldn't have even then said
I
that
am.
the candle had any relation to superstitions or the supernatural, but I did go back downstairs and light it.
yeah, just
Who
light
knows,
it.
I thought. Maybe it'll deter intruders with some awful smell. Maybe that's why he told me not to inhale the scent. I followed the man's instructions and quickly left before the flames reached the topmost layer of wax.
Okay.
The following morning, I
Okay.
received a visit from the police.
Excuse me?
Apparently, a vehicle had been found down the street, only recently abandoned. Recently, as in the last few hours. One neighbor had noticed it while going out for her mail and knew at once that it didn't belong to anyone in the neighborhood. It was also parked too close to her house for her liking, so she called the police, who came not long after to investigate. They ran the plates, identified its owner, and tried to contact them. Had no luck in doing so. Another set of officers visited the address of the person to which the vehicle had been registered, but no one was home. The police then went around my neighborhood asking if anyone knew the vehicle's owner.
Here we go.
As you might have guessed, the vehicle belonged to the locksmith who had unlocked my doors. While they explained the situation to me, I couldn't help but notice a lingering smell issuing from my kitchen. I hadn't yet made coffee, so the smell was unrivaled among the atmosphere of my home. I realized that it had come from a candle. Nothing else in my house smelled like this, and was surprised to find it fairly enjoyable, sweet, and pleasant.
Don't inhale it. Don't inhale. Don't
It
inhale.
took the officers shouting
Inhale.
my name to pull me out of the mild reverie induced by the faint scent of the candle. Not wanting to incriminate myself in the disappearance, assuming he'd just wandered off somewhere,
Yeah, just.
I told the
just
police that I had
pretend.
no idea who the vehicle could have belonged to.
Yeah, just pretend. Sorry about that. Something came on my screen. Sorry about that. All right, well, it was okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get back. Sorry.
Too. They gave me weird looks, but accepted my proclaimed ignorance and moved
Okay.
on to the next house.
That's good. That's
Once
good. That's
my
good.
front door was shut, I nearly sprinted to my kitchen.
Turn the thing off.
On
Quickly.
the table was the candle's glass holder. However, the wax had been almost fully reduced by the flame.
Turn it off, man.
Stain was left. The candle was no longer lit. The wick bent and curled by the melted wax that had
Okay.
solidified around it.
That's good.
Only an echo of the candle's scent persisted, and yet it was incredibly powerful.
Whew.
Standing there in the kitchen, I actually lost time. I was totally bewitched by the smell.
Don't get.
Over an hour
don't get
later,
the
after
bitch.
being shaken from my candle-induced intoxication by my phone's alarm, I went upstairs and began cleaning myself up. As I showered, I couldn't help but feel suddenly and powerfully terrified.
Oh.
Even
here
though
we
the
go.
candle's olfactory enchantment had been almost sublime, something about losing myself so easily and totally unsettled me to my core. It was a feeling more intense than any drug, drink, or physical sensation I'd ever experienced.
Here we go.
Once finished, I dressed and headed over to my neighbor's house, the one who had provided me with the candle. He answered promptly. Undisturbed by my early visit, I greeted him and asked about the candle, telling him about the experience with it after it had burned itself out. He smiled, adjusted his sleeping gown, and said, almost in a whisper, "Burns deliciously intoxicatingly. It can stop a man in his tracks with just one note of its scent. Could ensnare the hardiest of men, and trap the most chaste. At its most potent, it is irresistible.
Okay.
All the stimuli become a ghost, immaterial, invisible, unheeded. One could do anything to a man ensnared by the candle." As he had done last time, he closed the door on me before I could even think of a response. But before it closed, I saw through the dwindling opening a wall full of candles and paraphernalia of perfumery,
Okay.
and sealed within a lounge chair, unbound but clearly subdued by something, was a man who I recognized as the locksmith. An expression of deep relaxation upon his face.
Okay. Well,
I want to point you guys in the direction of the snake's paw. If you guys are listening
Hello.
on a podcast, then hey, you're pretty much already there. If you're not listening on the podcast and you're listening on the YouTube, then hey, you're basically already there.
Sweet.
The Snake's Paw is written by Jack Townsend, who also happens to write Tales from the Gas Station and Finding Vanessa, which I've heard that some of you people like. If you want to find some more of his amazing writing, as well as a full cast of voices that is brought to life within this amazing podcast that's hilarious and frightening at the same time, then I strongly, strongly suggest you check it out. That's The Snake's Paw. And you can also go to thesnakespaw.com. A big thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Jacob Fensky, Stephanie Butler, Jordan Humble, Chance Burnett, Diana Krause, Brimstone Pandemonium, Cal Tuna, William Wellington, Emma, Brenna Crow.
I love the fact he's doing this right now.
Simmons Bloody Mojo, Mephistopheles, Curse Pox Primarch, Bastion Beefcake, M, Jesus Corneo, Yargul,
Hey.
Amber Clark, Jake Hughes, Dakota
Hey,
Wexler,
I like the
Christian
fact that
Joseph,
he's
Adam
doing
Myers,
this.
Estadine, Nick Cull, Our Minsect Time, Xylobones, Angelus, Seclude, Salty Surprise.
Okay.
Calvin,
Alright, well, anyway, you guys, do you know what? I'll let you guys finish off the video for yourselves. But, yeah, that was a creepy thing. But, hey, when you got a candle, you gotta, hey, at least it helped. Now, all I know is that just let it go. Just let it go. Just let it be. Just let it be. Just let it be. Just let it be. That old man knows what he's doing. And if you see something like that, just let it be. Just let it go. Just let it go. Don't. But if you actually see something, just do you know? Never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. Just yeah. Well. God, man, that got. I guess it did. Dude, I don't know what to say here. All of a sudden, you leered, but still, locksmith, really, really. Come on, that should not cost that much. I think it's like $30. I think. Let me know in the comments how much it actually costs. I might be entirely wrong. But yeah, wow. Well, at least the problem solved itself. Alright? It solved itself. First of all, you have the right to defend yourself in your own home. Just remember, it is a lot. Either way, I hope you enjoyed today's video of this creepypasta. Let me know what you thought about this and what you think. Yeah, what do you think about the story? Yeah, it was it started getting creepy close to the end, but for some reason I didn't find this too creepy. Maybe that's just me. But either way, the aroma. Hey, if you start experiencing some nice smells, be warned. You never know who could be sending up some smells around. But either way, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment down below and subscribe to join my Dark Army if you enjoyed it. And also, I'm your Dark Ruler, so you may as well join my Dark Army, alright? Alright? Join my Dark Army because you have no choice. Yeah, I just said it. You have no choice, so join my Dark Army. And also, press the like button if you enjoyed it as well. It helps me get into the algorithm faster. Share the video. It extremely helps me out. And also, don't forget to press the black bell to be notified whenever my videos pop up. So that way you can get my videos on your feed. But, unfortunately, YouTube channel likes to remove it. So you don't get any of my videos on your feed. I don't know why she does this. So make sure you check out my channel at least once in a while during the week to see if I upload or not. And that's about it. And yes, we're still continuing on with the double videos. Still experimenting. But for right now, my dark minions... Oh, sorry. My creepy spooky minions... dismissed.